The history of the Great World Wars was taught to us as just that, history. But recent times have got us wondering if it will still remain history or not. Tension has been arising because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022. It is in fact unpredictable when the next war will begin. What do you think they are? How do you think the survivors of bomb blasts did survive? Here are some ways you could save yourself from a nuclear blast. The duck and cover strategy was taught to children 7 decades back. Surviving a nuclear blast by the duck and cover method can seem ineffective, but it's better than nothing. Running away is a stupid idea, though. Running away and moving from where you're safest might be the fastest way to be either affected by the blast or by the radiation. Nuclear bombs release a staggering amount of energy, measuring in the billions of joules, and a significant portion of this energy falls within the visible wavelength spectrum. This intense burst of light can have devastating effects on anyone who happens to be looking in the general direction of the detonation. Within a radius of 2 to 3 miles from ground zero, the consequences can be catastrophic. Those unfortunate enough to be within this range face the real possibility of permanent blindness, assuming they survive the initial detonation and its effects. The blinding intensity of the light can sear the retinas, leaving those affected with irreversible vision impairment. Even for those located outside this immediate danger zone, the threat to their eyesight remains substantial. The duration of blindness or vision impairment varies depending on the distance from the epicenter of the explosion. Those farther from the blast may experience temporary blindness lasting for hours or even minutes, but the risk is far from negligible. Luck plays a huge role in deciding whether you're untouched or even have the chance of surviving. You should be lucky enough to be miles away from the blast. If you're anywhere near, your bones will literally turn into dust. There are different aspects of nuclear blasts that affect us to varying degrees, from least to worst of the blast. Nuclear radiation can lead to so many health hazards that are internal as well as external. It even has the power to completely disintegrate our DNA. However, the good news is that you can simply avoid the effects of radiation by leaving the area. Again, you have to be very lucky to be outside the radius of impact. If you are inside, take cover with anything that might offer protection. For those of us outside who aren't as lucky, lie down face first to protect your exposed skin from the heat and debris. Next, thermal energy has a significantly larger impact. It can cause instantaneous third-degree burns and even ignite clothes on fire, consequently burning someone alive. But thermal energy is basically just light, so as long as you're away from it, you can escape being burned. The most dangerous aspect of a nuclear blast is when the energy of the bomb is turned into a blast wave. This particular blast force can create such pressure that even a few PSIs can destroy an entire building and even affect people's lungs. These bombs can go off any time, and when it does, your survival depends on where you're at the moment. Usually when bombs hit, evacuation is the first protocol. In this case, however, going into the low bomb shelter in your house, finding an underground basement, or even a subway will be immensely effective in keeping you away from both the physical impact and the radiation that follows. Find your bearings and leave as fast as you can. Stock up on everything you think you'll need. You don't know how long you'll be staying there. You don't want to die of starvation if the blast didn't kill you already. Wait for a couple of days before you go out. It'll still be incredibly dangerous to go out right after. The skin-burning heat and the full-fledged after effects can still take you out. The radiation debris will be falling down from the sky at this point, and if you come in contact with it, it can result in radiation poisoning, which will ultimately lead to death. But hiding in buildings can be risky. If you are, though, stick to the closest corner, to the closest opening. Science says that this tactic might just save your life, or the center of the building. There have been scientific studies done that used a simulation of a bomb blast that had freakishly similar impacts on the simulated building, in this case, a classroom. The aim of the experiment was to use the simulations to check where the most dangerous places in the building were. Listen for official information and follow instructions provided by the response personnel. It might be difficult to find information with services down. Try and search nearby buildings for a radio. Contact the authorities. It's extremely important to get information at times like this. Even though it may seem hopeless at times, keep your cell phones with you at all times. Once you know you're in a safe space, away from the explosion and radiation, decontamination is a crucial step to making sure that you've removed all radioactive materials from your body. Remove your outer layer of clothing to avoid the effects of it. Clean off any radioactive material stuck to your body using soap and water. While washing your hair, do not use conditioner. It will bind the radioactive material to your hair and will not allow it to be rinsed out. Use shampoo or soap water. After a few days at least, you should step out to look for either supplies, information, or companions. Now tread lightly. You have no idea of the dangers lurking in the shadows. In the midst of this post-apocalyptic landscape, where chaos and uncertainty reign, your survival instincts are bound to kick in. With determination, you must cautiously explore nearby buildings, mindful of any potential threat. Your priority is not just your safety, but also the prospect of finding companions who can increase your chances of pulling through. Call out for survivors. Trust is a huge part of this whole step. You must trust your instincts as well as others. However, do not be naive, as you must know that not everyone is going to welcome you with open arms. Alone, you are vulnerable, but with allies you can forge a community that can withstand the challenges of this new world. You cautiously approach those you meet, attempting to establish common ground. At times like these, trade becomes a valuable currency. Sharing resources, information, or skills leads to alliances that benefit everyone involved. When you're traveling, consider going somewhere with warmer temperatures. A large amount of ash and soot from the blast will be injected into the stratosphere, potentially blocking out the sun. The temperature would drop drastically, leaving you cold and defenseless against the cold. So, avoid the north. To ensure your group's survival, gather essential supplies for the journey ahead. Now, the critical decision arises. With your supplies and companions in tow, you go on an uncertain journey that might lead to somewhere or nowhere. You should understand that surviving in these frigid conditions may not be a viable option. Going south, to somewhere that's warmer, can increase your chances of survival and a more sustainable life. The last thing you'll need to survive will be courage and resilience. Lots of it. You may face obstacles along the way, that's for sure, but pushing through it is crucial. There is light at the end of the tunnel, after all. This is it, guys. That is all for today's video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. Thanks for watching. Bye.